As long as this company is here and my name's on it, I will always be here. I will never do it from a stand back and let somebody else run it. There's too much of me in this business for to let somebody else either mess it up or make a bigger success of it. So. We've got a number of very, very skilled people, and we take apprentices on, and that's been very successful so far. That we train our own men to do it our way. It's not Jaguar way or anybody else's way, it's our way, it's leaping cats. The business side of it was never ever intentional. It's not something I set out to do at any time. I come from Motherwell, Scotland. I served my apprenticeship as a fitter in a Hendry Lee's company that made overhead cranes. I was working in a garage at George Street Garage in the evenings to learn motor mechanic. I knew a lot of it, but more experience, different types of cars, Alphas, MGs, and anything that came in the door we fixed. Then I met somebody called Greg Hinton, who had, his company was called Classic Cars of Coventry. We had a difference of opinion after about 5 years, and I went back to the Standard because it was a job. That was all it was just a job. He followed me to work one day and pulled me over and said that he wanted me to come back and work for him to run Classic Cars of Coventry. And that's where it really took off. We did everything, parts, trim, painting. Goes in as a wreck and comes out a totally finished car in one building. But I found out after about 3-4 years, it was a bridge too far. It could have worked if it was a multi-millionaire who took it on and started doing it. But Greg wasn't, and it soon became apparent that we were struggling because we couldn't finish a car because we couldn't go and buy the material for the hood or the paint shop, or people would leave and you were left without a painter, and so there was too many factors that were coming in that were crippling it every time. So we decided we would work together in a so-called partnership, and we went to the solicitors and we drew it all up, and we formed Leaping Cats. It was all accident. There was no design, there was no plan, rather than that. That's what happened. And then once you're in this position and you start working, there's no way of stopping, because you've got to earn your living. So therefore one thing came after another, and we built a reputation. The paint shops in Hinckley, the trim shops in Nuneaton, and we're here. And between the three of us, we can produce a fabulous looking car. The biggest thing we did with massive publicity was Raiders of the Lost Ark. We made 2 cars for Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was for EMI Studios. They got us to build 2 cars. They couldn't buy the cars, they couldn't hire the cars. So we made 2 Jaguars look like Mercedes.
See it finished and in the film, say, well, oh, I had a part in that. Actually seeing the company grow from when John first started it up, and it was a smaller company to what it is today. We've lost a lot of the main manufacturers of the motor industry around this area, but there always seems to be a market for these cars. It's just what I've dropped into and liked and kept on doing, really. You know, it's been more like an hobby than a job, really.
My name's Harold Smith. This is the second time I've been with this company. What interests me is it's just the working parts. I just enjoy taking stuff apart and putting it back together. It's the age, I think. It's more our era.
Well, I was introduced to John by my son that used to work here. John was looking for somebody to help build the cars, and he mentioned that it was something I was interested in. Working on the cars is really, really interesting. It's something I've done since I left school. I've always been involved with the motor trade, always been involved with the cars and that side of it. So, especially working on these old Jaguars is brilliant. These are really nice looking cars, really interesting as well to work on them and build them. Especially see one come in as a basket case and then leave here as a pristine car. It's really, really interesting. We like to get the cars really back to as they were when they came out of the factory, but actually the cars are probably better when they leave here than when they left the factory, with the amount of hours that we spend on them getting them right.
When the car's finally fired up and running and it's trimmed up and it's road, you know, when you can road test it and that is a hell of an achievement to see that everything you've done to it is turned out really nice.
Yeah, I would have thought John, he's got a passion for these cars, and I can see him doing this for forever, more or less.
But John, he just loves it, John does. I mean, he's XK out and out.
If the business was sold, that's the only way I would retire. Anything that's done in my name, I want to be involved.